Hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug is from DragonCon from a few years back. DragonCon is a convention, a science fiction fantasy convention that we hold in Atlanta every year. It used to be 4 days, with a fifth unofficial day where people would come down and they'd get into their motels and they'd wander around the con area and they'd do some shopping and some visiting of the restaurants in Atlanta. This year, they've actually made it an official 5 days. Tickets were about $115 for the full 5 days the last time I looked. They do tend to go up through the year towards con, and they get rather expensive. Last year I think they were $150 for the 4 days. I'm not sure. Anyway, we would love to see some of you come and join us for the con. It is incredible fun. However, if you haven't been to a con, you might end up a little overwhelmed. It is very crowded. It literally takes over downtown Atlanta. We fill up, I think 5, maybe 6 hotels for sure that are part of the main part of downtown Atlanta. And it's wonderful though. There's costumes and there's panels and there's readings and there's screenings, and it's wonderful fun, and there's stars everywhere. We took our son for the first time 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. He went for 1 day and he just had a blast, and we were really surprised because he has autism, and a lot of crowds and stuff like that can be very overwhelming for someone with the sensory issues that most autistics have. However, he really enjoyed it. He enjoyed watching the costumes. We took him down to the Hall of Fame to meet some of his favorite stars, and they were all so very sweet to him, both his first year and his second year. We're hoping this year to take him for the full 4 or 5 days. So that ought to be fun. And like I said, we would really love to see you guys coming down and join us. I will load information below and put in the links so that you can check it out. And yeah, it's a really fun time. Anyway, today's tea is a mix of the white chocolate and the spiced dragon teas that I have. Like I mentioned before, I love mixing my teas. I like to mix the chocolate with mint, although now I have an oolong mint, so I don't really need to do that. But I like mixing the chocolate with the mint. I like mixing it with the vanilla and the cinnamon. And so I do a lot of that all the time. And today I was in a real chocolatey mood, and I want either some mint to it or some spice. When I mix the white chocolate and the spiced dragon, it's almost like getting a Mexican chocolate, which tends towards the spicy side. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give it a sip, and I'm going to love it because I just love this tea. Oh, yes. With the white chocolate, honestly, I could probably put in an extra spiced dragon tea to give it more of that spicy kick. But for today, this is perfect. It's perfect. So today I have another in my sample series, and again, it's skincare. I do have some makeup samples to eventually review for you, but it seems it's much easier to get skincare samples than it is to get makeup samples. So we're going to go with the skincare samples. Some of these are little envelope samples, so I didn't get a whole lot of it. Others are a little bit more than that. Like I've got some Mario Badescu in here and stuff like that. So let's get started. And yeah, let's get started. First up, I'm going to talk about my Mario Badescu. As you know, with my tack stash, and if you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. But as you know, with my tack stash, I did order the Mario Badescu anti-acne serum, which I love and is going strong. I still get a few little pimples here and there, but it gets rid of them very, very quickly. And then I also got the glycolic foaming cleanser, which I don't use very often. I use it maybe once a week, so it is going to last me a long time. But when you order from Mario Badescu, they allow you to pick 3 samples. And I picked the oil-free moisturizer, that little thing, and the orange tonic mask, and a cucumber tonic mask. I was really kind of surprised that the cucumber tonic mask came in an envelope versus one of these things. But at the same time, this actually is a bit more liquidy than the other items, so it kind of made sense. And you don't need a lot, so, I mean, I still got stuff in here, and I'm going to try to finish this up. So let's talk about this a little bit. It is of a thin consistency, and it dries and rinses very well. Let me see if I can get this open. I don't have my scissors up here. This is kind of sealed shut on me a little bit because I haven't used it in a while. I am liking my Yes To mask a lot. So when I want a cucumber mask, that's the one I go to. Okay, I think we've got it now. Yeah. As you can see, it is a very thin consistency. It spreads nicely. It dries down fairly quickly. It becomes kind of chalky. Then it rinses off very easily as well. So there's that. And that'll dry down and get very, very, not powdery, but it will have that chalky texture once it's dry. The problem is what I found is that my dry spots are even drier, and the other areas of my face, my cheeks are dry. The other areas of my face, they're okay, but it's not really as soft and smooth and comfortable as I would expect the mask to make them. My radiance pads do come up clean, although my skin seems to tend to tingle a bit more when I use them, and I'm just not as impressed with it. I will use it up. However, it's not something I buy. It's just not. In fact, all of these from Mario were actually a fail from me this time around, which is kind of sad because I did like the other 2 items that I purchased. So next, the orange tonic mask. The cucumber tonic mask was okay. This was a total fail for me, which makes me really, really sad. It is on a looser consistency. It's not as loose as the orange tonic. It also smooths out and becomes somewhat dry and chalky as it dries down. It actually has little bits of what I think are orange peel in it. They're very tiny, but you can actually feel them when you're putting on your skin. It smells amazing, amazing. It really does. However, first of all, as it dried down, my skin started to itch. And even after I took it off, I noticed an itchiness on my skin. That alone is enough to make me not want to use it again. My skin, after I took it off, rinsed it off, it did rinse off fairly easily. Most of these masks do. I noticed that there was like a chalky texture to my skin, even after rinsing it off once or twice. And when I used my radiance pads, the radiance pad came up dirty. And that to me is an indication that this just doesn't do what it's supposed to do. One of the things about masks is you kind of don't want them to leave a film or anything behind, except for the sheet masks where you rub it in. And even then, you don't want it to leave anything on top of your skin. You want it to absorb. And this did not do that. And even if it had, with the itchiness that I felt, it wouldn't be something. I only used it once, and I won't use it again because of that. There was no irritation signs when I got everything off and all that, but yeah, you don't want to risk a serious allergic reaction to even on your skin. I've had some skin issues lately, and they've taken me a little while to get settled back down. Continuing to use this, I suspect, would have resulted in something along the same lines. So yeah, not something I would I would recommend or purchase. It might work for another skin, but my skin does tend towards the sensitive side. So yeah, this is a no. This will probably go to one of my kids and see if one of them will like it. If not, it'll get thrown out. It's just not worth it to me. So last I have the oil-free moisturizer, which I really had high hopes for. Probably shouldn't have. You get high hopes on something and it will usually not meet those expectations. This is a very, very thick cream. Very thick. If you look at it, as you can see, it's looks almost like, I want to say Crisco, but that's just because of the coloration. But it is very thick like that. However, it doesn't spread that way. It spreads like a much looser, lighter cream. And that little bit, it was just a little bit, went all over my hand. You do not need much of this at all. Unfortunately, it doesn't leave my skin feeling soft. It doesn't leave my skin feeling moisturized. It doesn't leave my skin feeling moisturized. I can talk, really, I can, I promise. What it does is it leaves it feeling kind of tacky. It doesn't really absorb well. And so it's another no for me. It's really kind of sad because an oil-free moisturizer would be really great for my T-zone, but not if it's going to do this. I mean, I can just feel this on the top of my skin, and it just doesn't really even, when I rub my hand, it feels like my hand is going to stick. That feeling does not go away, and it just does not absorb the way it's supposed to. So again, this one will probably go to my girls to let them test out, see if one of them wants to use it. If they don't, it'll get thrown away. It's not something I use. So out of the 3 Mario Badescu samples, the only one that was even close to being useful for me was the cucumber. And the only reason actually, you know, when I got it, I didn't have my girls in here, and I didn't have to, so I thought I'd just use it up. But you know what? I'll probably end up giving that to my girls too. It is just not something that I'm happy with. I much prefer the Yes To. Alrighty, so that's the Mario Badescu. The rest of my samples are mostly envelopes that have maybe 1, maybe 2 applications in them. Some of them came in that little purse of skincare samples from Sephora. Others came from other places. I got a Clinique in here that I actually put in for on a freebie site. Because most of these are envelope foil packs, I can't give as in-depth of a review as I would like. I got maybe 2 uses out of some of them, not all of them. There's only one where I had 2 samples, and the samples had a really good amount. The others, I'm just going to give you basically a first impression type of opinion because there just really wasn't enough to work with. So let's start with this Drunk Elephant Proteini Polypeptide Cream. This came in that Sephora purse of skincare samples. It is a thick cream, but a little goes a very long way. It spreads out really nicely. However, this is another one that didn't really absorb well into my skin. It left it feeling tacky rather than soft. A lot of these, I try to give them overnight. I do most of my major skincare at night. I have a moisturizer I use during the day. I don't mess with that much. So most of these get tested at night because I'm not wearing makeup and I want to give them a chance to succeed and to absorb into my skin without any interference. And having that 8 to 10 hours when I'm in bed, actually, to be honest, 6 to 10 hours when I'm in bed. Dami don't go to sleep till about 3:30 or 4 in the morning. So she's lucky to get 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I can live on that. I really wish I could fix that, but being a night owl. Anyway, moving on. Unfortunately, this left my skin feeling tacky and like there's a film over it. I can feel it's much like the Mario Badescu where you rub your hand on it and it's like your hand catches rather than feeling smooth and soft and like it's moisturized. In the morning, I still felt that film over my skin. It did not feel soft. It did not feel moisturized. And in some places, it felt greasy. So this is my second Drunk Elephant and not impressed. Don't think I'll be, well, I don't know. I may try another one, but so far I'm not impressed with the brand because this is the second item that they've given me that I've not really liked. So yeah, don't recommend it. Probably works better for someone else. Just did not work for me. Moving right along, this was a freebie offer in the mail for the Clinique Moisture Surge. The Clinique Moisture... I swear I can talk. The Clinique Moisture Surge 72-hour auto-replenishing hydrator. Like I said, this was a sign up on the internet, get it in the mail kind of offer. It came in a little packet like this. I didn't get a surge of moisture. Let's go with that for a starter. It's another, I mean, it's like all these other creams. It's a standard. Yeah, there's literally nothing in here. I could only use it once because it is a tiny foil packet. It did leave my skin feeling smooth after I applied it, but I suspect that's from the dimethicone, which is the second ingredient. And dimethicone is in a lot of our hair and skin products. And guess what it's not good for? Our hair and our skin. What dimethicone provides, one of the things it provides, is that slip that you sometimes feel, that smoothness, when your hair feels really silky and smooth. The dimethicone, or the shampoo, has not necessarily repaired anything that caused the roughness. It has not necessarily done anything to your skin in terms of a positive effect. It just provides the sensation that it has. So this did provide a smoothness to my skin. However, my skin did not necessarily feel moisturized. And if anything, it felt drier than when I use my regular moisturizers. At the time, I was using primarily the Clinique Dramatically Different. I've got a small thing of that I'm trying to, I can't say I'm trying to use it up. I've really gotten into my Neutrogena. But I do have a small one of those that I just recently did a repurchase on that I do need to use up, and it probably won't repurchase it because it also has dimethicone in it. However, that still left my skin feeling softer and more moisturized than this did. This, not only did it leave like my dry spots drier, or my areas drier in general, this also left kind of a tacky feeling to my skin. That was gone by morning. However, my T-zone in particular actually felt kind of greasy. Oily, yes, but it just felt ew. I'm going to go with ew. So this might work with someone who has really dry skin, or I don't know, maybe not even then. Because like I said, I never felt like my skin got moisturized. And I have dry cheeks because I'm combo oily in my T-zone. My dry spots are my cheeks. And my cheeks never felt moisturized. So I'm not even sure who to recommend this for. If you're combo, you're going to feel oilier. And if you're dry, it's not going to give you enough. If you're oily, it definitely is not something that's going to work. So honestly, I just don't see this working for anybody. But not being a skincare expert and skincare being very personalized, I don't know. It might work for someone, just not for me. So after fumbling through that one, we've got two left, and I'm going to leave the worst for last. And the worst one, honestly, might work for someone who's not me. Anyway, next up, we have this Dr. Jart Water Fuse Ultimate Hydrogel. It's a very loose consistency for a gel. I don't know if there's anything left in here at all. Oh, just a little bit on this corner. I've tried the Tarte H2O. I have the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Gel. And I'm now using the Neutrogena. It's still thick, but it's much looser than any of those. You don't need a lot. It spreads out. A little goes a long way. That little itty bit covered my entire hand, back of my hand. So, however, this is not a bad product. I just think that the three that I mentioned all worked as well or better, to be honest. Again, we have to go to my cheeks, because when they're supposed to have extra moisturizing, the first thing I think about is my cheeks, which are the dry part. Fortunately, from what I remember, this did not leave my T-zone feeling oilier like some of the other ones I've mentioned. However, my cheeks didn't feel moisturized. They felt kind of tacky rather than soft. And so, you know, this might work for a combo skin that's on the oilier side. I don't think this was good for dry skin because, like I said, my cheeks just didn't feel moisturized. They felt tacky. They felt not the way you want your skin to feel. So for my T-zone and my normal areas, it seemed to do okay. But like I said, there are others that I think are better. I don't recommend Tarte, but that's for personal reasons. But, you know, I'm enjoying the Neutrogena Hydro Boost, and it's cheaper by a long shot. And so, yeah, I don't think this is worth the price. I think you can find something better that would do the same thing. So next is the one that was the worst for me, and that is this Algenist Genius Liquid Collagen. I got 2 of these. I got them in separate orders. This fluid, I only used it a couple of times. I threw the one that I had open before out. I have this one that I can go ahead and open and show you what it's like. But this stuff it was awful. I don't have the claims in front of me and it's not on the package. But I think it claims to do some brightening. It claims to make your skin more youthful and firm and things like that. I can't speak on those. I ended up having a reaction to this. So a little of this, as you can see, it's kind of a jellyish type consistency. A little of this goes a very long way. I don't know if you can see the little, it almost looks like there's little orange peels or something in it. It's not. It smells beautiful. It smells wonderful. It spreads really well. You don't need a lot. That little bit is actually still covering most of the back of my hand. It absorbs very quickly. It helped my moisturizer absorb very well. A lot of times you get these serums and things, and they sometimes seem to get in the way of your moisturizer. I'm not keeping this on my skin. I'll explain that in a minute. But they seem to get in the way of your moisturizer getting into your skin. This did not do that. In fact, it seemed to actually help the moisturizer get into my skin. However, despite all that, oh, and my skin, I will say, after I put it in and put my moisturizer on, my skin actually felt softer. It's like it helped my moisturizer do its job. But I had a reaction to this, particularly around my eyes. I don't rub it on my eyes, but I get around my eyes, and I started getting something similar to hives. I'm still trying to clear some of it up. I had a really bad patch on underneath this eye that I'm still trying to get to clear up. And it's been over a week since I've used this. And then on top of that, this crap is $115 an ounce. No, 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 just no. Even if this was perfect, I wouldn't buy it for that price. No, no, no. Have I said no enough? Anyway, for me, though, this was the worst because my skin reacted so badly to using it. If you want to try this, I would say be very careful with it. I don't normally do like a little patch test. These samples are so small that doing that would make it hard to give a better overall view of what it does. But with this, if you can get one of these small samples, if you're actually interested in spending $115 on this, and I know some people can afford it and they think that spending more means it's going to do better. It doesn't, but a lot of people think it does. But if you're interested in this, get a sample. I wouldn't recommend buying it outright. Get a sample, patch test it somewhere on your face first to make sure you're not going to react. Because this stuff, I'm not even going to give this to this is just getting thrown out. Because this was a disaster and I can't recommend it. I would rather my dragonettes be safe than to have tried something and find that they reacted very poorly to it. So that's it for today. I know I've been doing a lot of skincare sample series videos. I do have makeup samples. They just take a little while longer to get to, and I get a little bit more of them. When you do get makeup samples, you get a bit more in the sample, so I can test it out a bit longer. And they also tend to be harder to actually get. Skincare companies want you to try their skincare. They know skincare is expensive, so a lot of them will give you free samples, whether it's the little tubs like Mario Badescu or it's the little foil packs. Unfortunately, with foil packs, you really aren't going to be able to tell. You're going to be able to tell if it doesn't cause a problem usually, not always. But you aren't going to be able to tell if it's actually going to be useful with a foil pack. But I get it. Skincare is a bit more expensive than most makeup to make, I guess. I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen. I hope you've learned a little something. If you've liked what you've seen, please subscribe and click the reminder bell down below to know when I upload next. And I do hope you drop by again one of these days. Don't forget to bring your cuppa. And, well, you know what? If we're going to leave, we're going to leave on the dragon. Because I'm a dragon and you're my dragonettes. But don't forget to bring your cuppa. You have a good day. And